Let's start with the tree abilities that'll make you question reality and slowly work our way toward the one discovery that's so disturbing it'll change how you walk through forests forever. Number 6. Trees with brain chemicals. Here's something that'll mess with your head. Trees make dopamine, serotonin, GABA, the exact same chemicals your brain uses to feel happy, calm, or stressed. But here's the kicker. They're not using them to think. They're using them to survive. Let me explain. When a tree is drowning in drought stress, it literally doses itself with dopamine to close its pores and stop losing water. It's self-medicating. Banana trees? They're swimming in dopamine, up to 560 milligrams per 100 grams of peel. That's more than most antidepressants. Therefore, trees are basically walking pharmacies. They've got serotonin regulating their growth cycles, melatonin controlling their day-night rhythms, acetylcholine directing which way roots grow. Now, I know what you're thinking. If trees have all these brain chemicals, does that mean they can think? No. But it does mean that the line between plant and animal biology is way blurrier than we thought. Trees are computing with the same chemical toolkit as your brain. They just don't have a skull to put it in. Number 5. Electric brains. Trees don't have neurons, but they do have electrical wiring. Picture this. You cut a branch off a tree. Within seconds, an electrical pulse shoots down the trunk, races through the roots, and alerts every leaf on the tree that danger is nearby. No brain, no nerves, just raw electricity. Therefore, the entire tree acts like one giant circuit board. Here's how it works. When a leaf gets damaged or goes dry, the tree fires an action potential, the same electrical signal your neurons use, through its tissues. Voltage spikes, calcium waves, the whole system lights up like a computer network. Scientists have known about this since 1907, but we're only now realizing how sophisticated it is. Trees use the same ion channels that animal brains do. They've got a distributed nervous system that lets every cell talk to every other cell. It's like the tree is one massive organism with its own version of a phone line. Leaf gets attacked, root gets the memo, instantly. Think about that next time you carve your initials into bark. You're basically giving the tree an electric shock that ripples through its entire body. Number 4. Secret senses. Okay, this one's wild. Trees can see without eyes. Let me break this down. Scientists recently discovered that plant tissues have tiny air-filled gaps that act like microscopic lenses. These gaps scatter sunlight across cells, creating light gradients. Therefore, even though a tree has no eyeballs, it knows exactly where the sun is and grows toward it. Essentially, trees see with their entire body. But it gets weirder. Trees can also smell. When one tree gets attacked by insects, it releases volatile organic compounds, basically airborne chemical warnings, into the air. Neighboring trees smell the danger and preemptively arm themselves with toxins and defensive chemicals before the bugs even arrive. It's like trees are gossiping through scent. In one study, goldenrod plants under beetle attack changed their smell, and nearby goldenrod picked up the warning scent and activated their defenses. The crazy part? Unrelated plant species all use the same chemical language. They've agreed on a universal danger signal. But here's where it gets even smarter. Trees can choose between private and public messages. If there's no real threat, they whisper subtle chemical signals only to their kin. But under serious attack, they shout a broadcast to every plant in the area. Think of it like a group chat. Casual conversation versus emergency broadcast. So yeah, trees have eyes without eyes, noses without noses, and a whole communication network floating in the air around them. Number 3. Trees remember the past. Trees don't have brains, but they do have memory. Let's start simple. You know the Mimosa pudica plant, the one that folds up when you touch it? Scientists dropped potted mimosas over and over again. At first, the plants freaked out and closed their leaves. But after a few dozen drops, they learned nothing bad was happening. They stopped reacting. Days later, they still remembered the lesson. That's long-term memory in a plant. Therefore, trees can learn from experience. But it goes deeper than that. Trees literally remember winter. Deciduous trees need to experience prolonged cold to trigger flowering in spring. During winter, cold temperatures flip molecular switches in their DNA, epigenetic markers that stay turned on until warmth returns. When spring hits, the tree's cells recall that they survived winter and begin blooming. It's genetic memory, burned into their DNA. But wait, there's more. If a tree survives drought or damage, it adjusts its settings for future threats. These stress imprints are stored in cellular memory, changes in proteins and gene activity, so the tree responds faster next time. Some of these memories even pass to offspring. Baby trees can be born already warned about drought. So let me get this straight. Trees remember seasons. They remember trauma. They remember lessons. They pass warnings to their children. And they don't even have a brain to store it in. Number 2, the secret internet of trees. This is the one that sounds like science fiction, but is mostly real. Underground, trees are linked by a massive fungal network. Scientists literally call it the Wood Wide Web. Think of it like a secret internet connecting tree roots, where older mother trees can send nutrients to baby trees and broadcast warnings through fungi. Here's how it works. Fungal threads called mycorrhizae wrap around tree roots and form a vast underground network. The fungus breaks down minerals in the soil and feeds them to the tree. In return, the tree gives the fungus sugar. It's a trade deal. But the network does more than just feed trees. In a 2016 study, scientists sprayed a carbon isotope on one tree and later found that same isotope in neighboring trees, meaning carbon, literal energy, traveled between trees through the soil network. Therefore, trees share resources underground. Old mother trees have been observed sending nutrients to seedlings, essentially feeding their children. Some ecologists argue trees act like parents, protective, nurturing. But here's where scientists fight. A 2023 review pointed out that most of these experiments happened in labs, not wild forests. Many studies lacked proper controls, and in real forests, competition often rules over cooperation. The mother tree idea might be romanticized. But tiny transfers of water and nutrients do happen. Seedlings connected to parent trees by fungi perform slightly better, and trees under attack have been shown to send chemical distress signals through the network, warning neighbors to boost their defenses. So, is the Wood Wide Web real? Yes. Is it as magical as pop science makes it sound? Debatable. But either way, trees are definitely talking underground. Number 1. When trees scream. All right, this is the one that's going to haunt you. Trees scream. Literally. But you can't hear it because they scream in ultrasonic frequencies above 20,000 hertz, beyond human hearing. Here's what scientists discovered. When plants are stressed, dehydrated, wounded, dying, they emit rapid ultrasonic clicking noises. Researchers recorded thirsty tomato plants making 30 to 50 pops per hour. Healthy plants? Silent. The sound is like a kid jumping on bubble wrap. Tiny, rapid, desperate. Therefore, stressed trees are broadcasting their suffering into the air, and we just can't hear it. But some animals can. Moths, bats, insects. Many creatures hear in ultrasonic ranges, which means they might be eavesdropping on plant distress calls. A hungry bug could literally hear a plant screaming for help and know exactly where to attack. The noises come from air bubbles forming and bursting inside the tree's water vessels, a process called xylem cavitation. When a tree runs out of water, its internal plumbing starts popping like tiny explosions. Scientists used machine learning to analyze the sounds. They could tell the difference between a healthy plant and a dying one just by listening. Each species even has its own unique sound pattern. Therefore, if you had the right microphone, you could walk through a forest and hear which trees are suffering. But here's the creepy part. If insects and animals can hear these screams, they might be using them as hunting signals. The sound of drought could be a dinner bell. A wounded tree could be advertising itself to predators. And if plants can hear vibrations, which research suggests they can, They might even be listening to each other scream. So yeah, next time you walk through a forest, just remember, you're surrounded by a symphony of ultrasonic distress calls. Trees begging for water, trees warning each other, trees screaming into the void. You just can't hear it. Honestly, after learning all this, forests hit different. Trees aren't just standing there, they're communicating, remembering, sensing, screaming. And we've been walking past them our entire lives thinking they were just decoration.